Men notice far more than you realize. Every subtle movement, every word you choose, every boundary you uphold, it all speaks volumes about who you are. Confidence isn't just about what you say, it's about how you carry yourself when no one is watching, how you protect your energy, and how you refuse to settle for less than you deserve. There are 4 rules that, when applied consistently, naturally command respect. These aren't tricks or manipulations. They are principles of self-worth and personal power that signal strength, independence, and integrity in a way men can't help but recognize. Respect isn't something you demand from others. It's something you cultivate through the way you move, the choices you make, and the standards you hold yourself to. Strong, self-assured women don't need to prove their worth. It's evident in their presence, their clarity, and their refusal to compromise who they are for anyone else. Every interaction is an opportunity to show that you value yourself, that your time is precious, and that your integrity is non-negotiable. When you approach life with confidence and calmness, people instinctively notice it. Men, especially, respond to women who carry themselves with authority without arrogance, who hold firm to their principles, and who don't bend just to please or gain approval. These women create a magnetic energy that naturally draws respect and admiration, not because they try to manipulate it, but because they embody it through action. It's not about appearing unapproachable or distant. It's about being fully aligned with your own worth, knowing what you will and won't accept, and navigating every situation with clarity, composure, and unwavering self-respect. This is the kind of presence that transforms everyday interactions into moments where respect is felt and given effortlessly. Set clear boundaries. Setting clear boundaries is not just about saying no when something doesn't feel right. It's about understanding your own value and protecting your energy with precision. Boundaries are a declaration of who you are and what you will accept in every area of your life, whether it's in relationships, at work, or within your social circle. Women who command respect instinctively know where their lines are, and they communicate them without guilt or hesitation. When you establish boundaries, you send a message that your time, your emotions, and your self-worth are not negotiable. This doesn't make you rigid or unapproachable. It makes you powerful and clear. People will test your boundaries, as they often do with anyone who appears strong, but your strength is in your consistency. Saying no when something doesn't align with your values is not selfish. It is self-respect in action. It signals that you are intentional with your energy and that your standards are not up for debate. Clear boundaries also act as a filter. They protect you from people who drain you, situations that diminish your sense of self, and opportunities that don't match your goals. Many women make the mistake of bending too often to accommodate others, thinking it will make them more likable or approachable. In reality, constantly compromising sends the opposite signal. It tells people that your time, energy, and values are negotiable, and that invites disregard rather than respect. When you enforce your boundaries consistently, you cultivate a quiet authority that others can't ignore. Men, in particular, are drawn to women who are unapologetically firm about what they will and will not tolerate, not because of intimidation, but because of clarity and confidence. Setting boundaries is also deeply connected to emotional intelligence. It requires self-awareness to recognize when your limits are being tested and courage to assert them firmly yet respectfully. Boundaries are not just reactive, they are proactive. They prevent unnecessary conflict, reduce stress, and create an environment where mutual respect can flourish. Women who understand this principle operate from a place of empowerment rather than fear. They don't wait for disrespect to occur before taking action. They establish their standards up front, making it clear that any deviation from these standards is unacceptable. This foresight not only protects them, but also shapes the way others interact with them, promoting accountability and respect naturally. In practical terms, setting boundaries means making deliberate choices about how much time, energy, and attention you give to others. It's recognizing that your needs are just as important as anyone else's and refusing to apologize for prioritizing them. It could be as simple as deciding not to answer work emails after a certain hour, not tolerating disrespectful comments in social settings, or refusing to engage in conversations or behaviors that compromise your values. Every boundary you set reinforces the message that you respect yourself, and this self-respect commands others to respond in kind. It's important to understand that setting boundaries is not a one-time action. It's a continuous practice that evolves as you grow. Some boundaries will be non-negotiable, like your core values, while others may shift depending on your circumstances, energy levels, and personal growth. The key is to remain intentional and consistent. A boundary is only effective if it is honored consistently, and this consistency is what builds authority and earns deep respect. Beyond personal interactions, boundaries also serve as a form of self-education for those around you. When you communicate your limits clearly, you teach others how to treat you. Men respect women who do this because it demonstrates both strength and emotional maturity. They recognize that these women are not seeking validation. They are operating from a place of integrity and self-assuredness. Clear boundaries reduce ambiguity, increase mutual understanding, and create a dynamic in which respect is a natural outcome rather than something that needs to be demanded. Setting boundaries also allows you to focus on what truly matters: your goals, your passions, and your personal growth. By protecting your energy and time, you ensure that you are investing in relationships and opportunities that align with your values. This alignment not only enhances your confidence, but also amplifies your presence. Men, colleagues, friends, and family members alike notice when someone is intentional with their boundaries. They sense the strength, the clarity, and the self-respect, and this draws them in rather than pushing them away. Clear boundaries are an extension of self-respect, and self-respect is the cornerstone of genuine respect from others. They are not walls meant to isolate you. They are signposts that define your identity and demonstrate your standards. Women who master this principle live with intentionality, communicate their expectations clearly, and inspire respect effortlessly. Boundaries are a form of leadership in your own life. They set the tone for how you are treated, how much influence you allow others to have over your decisions, and how much of your energy you are willing to share. When boundaries are firmly in place, respect becomes the natural response, not because it is demanded, but because it is earned through clarity, consistency, and unwavering self-worth. Value your time. Your time is one of your most valuable assets, yet so many women give it away too freely in the pursuit of validation, approval, or fleeting attention. When you value your time, you are signaling to the world that your presence is not something to be taken lightly. Every moment you spend has weight, and every interaction you engage in reflects your priorities and your self-respect. Men notice this more than you realize. When a woman carries herself with purpose, when she refuses to chase someone who doesn't reciprocate her energy, it communicates strength, independence, and a high standard of self-worth. Valuing your time is not about being dismissive or cold. It's about being intentional with your energy, choosing relationships, opportunities, and experiences that serve your growth and align with your values. Many women fall into the trap of over-investing in others at the expense of themselves. They say yes too often, stay in situations that drain them, and constantly seek approval to feel validated. This behavior, while often subtle, signals to men that their attention is negotiable and that their energy is up for grabs. Confidence, on the other hand, comes from the ability to walk away without guilt, to prioritize your commitments wisely, and to honor your own schedule. When you operate from a place of intentionality, people around you, especially men, start to recognize that your presence is valuable. They understand that if they want your attention, they must earn it. This dynamic creates a natural form of respect that cannot be demanded. It is felt because it is authentic. Valuing your time also means being discerning about where you invest your energy. In relationships, this might mean refusing to engage with people who don't respect your boundaries or your emotional needs. In professional settings, it means setting clear limits on what you are willing to do and how much you are willing to compromise for others' agendas. Socially, it means surrounding yourself with people who elevate you rather than drain you. Every choice you make about how to spend your time reflects your self-worth. When you refuse to settle for distractions, trivial conflicts, or attention that doesn't serve you, you are communicating a powerful message. Your time is precious, and you will not squander it for anything less than meaningful engagement. Being intentional with your time also translates into consistency and discipline. Women who understand the value of their time plan their lives around priorities that matter most to them. They don't get swept away by every request, distraction, or societal expectation. They know that saying no to something that doesn't align with their goals is not rejection. It's an affirmation of what they truly value. Men, colleagues, friends, and even family members recognize this clarity. It demonstrates maturity, confidence, and a refusal to allow external pressures to dictate your life. There is an unspoken magnetism in a woman who operates this way. She commands attention not by asking for it, but by embodying it. Valuing your time is also deeply connected to self-respect. Every hour you spend engaging in things that honor your values reinforces the standard you set for yourself and for others. Men respond positively to women who are selective with their energy because it signals emotional intelligence and personal integrity. They see someone who respects herself enough not to give her attention or approval away freely. This creates a subtle but undeniable sense of authority and presence. It's not about being unattainable or aloof. It's about being intentional, disciplined, and aligned with your own purpose. It is important to recognize that valuing your time doesn't mean you are rigid or unwilling to help others. It means that you understand the difference between meaningful contributions and energy drains. You invest in things and people that matter, and you are unafraid to step away from those that don't. This approach allows you to preserve your energy for pursuits that elevate your life, deepen your relationships, and reinforce your self-respect. It also positions you as someone who commands consideration naturally because you are not constantly available to everyone for everything. Your time becomes a form of currency, and people treat it with the value it deserves. Valuing your time requires constant awareness and a commitment to intentional living. It is about evaluating how you spend each day, how you respond to requests, and how you prioritize your own goals. The women who master this principle do not feel guilty for protecting their schedules or for saying no when necessary. They understand that their time is a reflection of their worth, and they navigate life accordingly. Men notice this because it communicates self-confidence, independence, and a high standard of personal integrity. When you value your time consistently, you cultivate a life that is purposeful, disciplined, and aligned with your highest standards. You are no longer reactive to the whims and expectations of others. Instead, you move through life intentionally, reserving your attention and energy for what truly matters. This principle creates a magnetic presence. Men, colleagues, friends, and even strangers sense it instinctively. It is not a technique or a strategy. It is an authentic expression of self-respect and personal power that commands acknowledgement and admiration effortlessly. By valuing your time, you create boundaries around your energy, focus on what truly matters, and send a clear message to the world about your standards. Every choice you make about how to spend your time reinforces the respect you deserve and the authority you naturally hold. Stay composed under pressure. Staying composed under pressure is one of the most powerful ways a woman can command respect. It's not about suppressing your emotions or pretending everything is perfect. It's about cultivating the ability to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. When chaos erupts, when challenges appear, or when people attempt to provoke you, maintaining your calm signals strength, maturity, and control. Men notice this immediately, often on a subconscious level. A woman who can navigate high-stress situations with poise demonstrates that she is grounded, capable, and not easily shaken. This composure communicates confidence without arrogance and authority without aggression. Many women underestimate the value of emotional control. In moments of tension, it's easy to feel pressure to react emotionally, to defend yourself immediately, or to try to explain every nuance. But the women who earn deep respect know that the power is in the pause, the measured response, the thoughtful words, the calm demeanor. By staying composed, you communicate that your inner world is stable, your sense of self is intact, and your boundaries are strong enough to handle external challenges. Emotional reactions often reveal insecurity or a lack of control, whereas calmness conveys mastery over oneself. This mastery naturally commands attention and encourages others to treat you with deference and consideration. Staying composed also creates a psychological effect. People often mirror the emotional energy around them. If you remain calm and centered, others are more likely to follow your lead. Chaos can spread quickly in relationships, workplaces, and social settings, but a composed presence diffuses tension and provides clarity. Men are particularly attuned to this because it signals reliability, stability, and maturity. It tells them that you are not reactive or easily manipulated, that your decisions are deliberate, and that you operate from a place of strength rather than fear. This kind of presence is magnetic, subtle, and commanding all at once. Composure under pressure is closely linked to self-awareness and self-discipline. It requires recognizing your triggers, understanding your emotional responses, and consciously choosing how to act rather than react. Women who develop this skill can navigate confrontations, stressful situations, and unexpected challenges without losing their sense of self. This doesn't mean ignoring emotions or pretending you aren't affected. It means processing internally first, maintaining clarity, and responding strategically. People respect this because it shows intelligence, emotional regulation, and maturity, qualities that are rare and highly valued in every area of life. In real-world applications, staying composed under pressure translates to a variety of situations. In relationships, it allows you to respond to disagreements with clarity rather than defensiveness. You can communicate boundaries without anger, make decisions without being clouded by fear, and maintain dignity even in emotionally charged moments. In the workplace, composure ensures you are seen as professional, capable, and trustworthy. Colleagues and superiors notice when someone can navigate high-stakes meetings, unexpected setbacks, or challenging interactions without losing control. Socially, your calm presence inspires others, sets the tone for interactions, and naturally elevates your authority in any group. Practicing composure requires conscious effort and consistent self-reflection. It often starts with small steps, pausing before responding, taking deep breaths in stressful moments, or mentally framing challenges as temporary rather than personal attacks. Over time, these practices develop into a habit that becomes second nature. Men, and people in general, respond instinctively to this type of controlled presence because it conveys emotional strength and reliability. They respect a woman who can navigate storms without letting them define her, who can maintain clarity when everyone else is reacting impulsively. This kind of respect is deep, lasting, and earned through consistent demonstration of emotional mastery. Composure under pressure also protects your mental and emotional energy. Women who react immediately to every slight, criticism, or stressful situation often expend unnecessary energy and open themselves to manipulation. Those who remain calm, in contrast, preserve their energy for decisions that matter, interactions that are productive, and situations that align with their values. This approach not only reinforces self-respect, but also ensures that your presence is valued and that your influence carries weight. Men, in particular, notice and respect women who manage their emotions effectively because it signals reliability, strength, and a high level of personal integrity. Furthermore, staying composed enhances your decision-making abilities. Stress and emotional upheaval cloud judgment, while calmness fosters clarity. Women who master this skill are able to assess situations objectively, make informed choices, and maintain control over outcomes rather than being swept along by circumstance. This strategic approach builds a natural authority, ensuring that others take your perspective seriously and respect the boundaries you set. Composure under pressure becomes not just a personal skill, but a form of leadership that demonstrates intelligence, self-respect, and influence simultaneously. Remaining composed also affects the energy you project to others. Calm, collected women create an aura of confidence that is almost tangible. People are drawn to it, subconsciously recognizing that this is someone who can handle adversity without being shaken, who operates from a foundation of strength, and who commands respect without demanding it. This type of presence is rare, powerful, and magnetic because it comes from internal mastery rather than external validation. Ultimately, staying composed under pressure is about owning your power, understanding your worth, and maintaining control over how you present yourself to the world. It is a skill that must be cultivated intentionally, practiced consistently, and refined over time. The women who embody this principle naturally attract respect because they demonstrate strength, intelligence, and maturity through their calm and deliberate actions. Prioritize self-respect over approval. Prioritizing self-respect over seeking approval is one of the most transformative principles a woman can embrace. Too often, women unconsciously shape their decisions, behaviors, and even their identity around what others might think or how others might react. They soften their words, dilute their opinions, or compromise their values in the pursuit of acceptance. But respect from others is never as powerful as the respect you hold for yourself. When you operate from self-respect first, approval becomes secondary. This mindset shifts the energy entirely. It communicates strength, integrity, and unshakable confidence, qualities that naturally draw respect from men and everyone around you. Self-respect is not passive. It requires deliberate action and conscious choices. It begins with knowing your values and standing by them, even when it feels uncomfortable or when others resist. It means refusing to lower your standards to fit someone else's expectations, resisting the urge to say yes just to be liked, and honoring your own principles even if it risks confrontation or criticism. Men notice this immediately, often without realizing why. A woman who is unapologetic about her values demonstrates emotional independence, mental fortitude, and inner authority, qualities that are magnetic because they are rare and authentic. Prioritizing self-respect over approval also involves learning to trust yourself fully. Many women rely on external validation to feel worthy, constantly checking if their choices are acceptable or if they are being liked enough. This reliance on approval undermines confidence and subtly signals insecurity. In contrast, a woman who trusts her judgment, makes decisions aligned with her integrity, and refuses to bend for validation commands quiet authority. She does not seek to please or conform. She simply embodies her principles and allows the world to respond. Men, colleagues, and friends are drawn to this energy because it communicates clarity, stability, and leadership. This principle is deeply intertwined with boundaries. Self-respect guides the way you interact with others, teaching you when to walk away, when to assert yourself, and when to refuse engagement in situations that compromise your integrity. It ensures that your energy is invested wisely and that you are not caught in cycles of people-pleasing, manipulation, or unnecessary compromise. Women who prioritize their self-respect create an invisible framework of authority. They are clear about what is acceptable, they do not waver under pressure, and they maintain dignity in every interaction. Men respect this because it signals that you are whole, confident, and unafraid to hold firm to your values. Prioritizing self-respect is also about cultivating an internal compass that guides your choices. Instead of making decisions based on fear of judgment, desire for approval, or anxiety about fitting in, you act from your principles, values, and sense of purpose. This internal alignment not only reduces stress and increases clarity, but also projects an energy that is unmistakably authoritative. People, including men, sense when someone is anchored in their own standards rather than constantly swayed by external opinions. This presence commands attention, inspires respect, and fosters influence without the need for force or manipulation. Women who embrace self-respect over approval understand that saying no or standing firm is not rejection. It is a declaration of personal integrity. They do not compromise themselves to smooth over discomfort or to avoid conflict. Instead, they recognize that true influence and authority come from demonstrating consistency between values and actions. Men respect this because it communicates reliability, authenticity, and strength. They can sense when a woman is guided by her own principles rather than the expectations of others, and this clarity fosters trust, admiration, and genuine respect. Prioritizing self-respect also strengthens resilience. Life will inevitably present situations where pressure is applied, criticism is offered, or others attempt to sway you from your path. Women who have internalized this principle are less likely to be manipulated or shaken because their self-worth is not contingent upon approval. Their confidence comes from within, their authority is rooted in integrity, and their presence radiates power. Men respond to this because it demonstrates emotional maturity, stability, and the ability to navigate challenges without compromise or apology. This principle extends to every aspect of life: relationships, workplaces, friendships, and personal growth. In romantic relationships, it ensures that you do not tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or behavior that undermines your value. In professional settings, it allows you to assert your expertise, advocate for yourself, and maintain professional dignity without needing constant affirmation. Socially, it helps you cultivate meaningful connections with people who honor and align with your standards. Across every arena, prioritizing self-respect over approval signals authority, independence, and confidence that cannot be fabricated or forced. Self-respect over approval also fosters authenticity. When you stop bending to please others, you reveal your true self, your ideas, your values, your personality, without fear or hesitation. This authenticity is magnetic because it is rare. It communicates clarity and strength in a way that is effortlessly attractive. Men and others respond to women who operate from this space because they project stability, courage, and self-sufficiency. It is not about being unapproachable or rigid. It is about being steadfast, principled, and unwavering in who you are. Ultimately, prioritizing self-respect over approval is an ongoing practice of conscious decision-making, boundary setting, and self-awareness. It is a mindset that influences your words, your actions, and the energy you project. Women who embody this principle do not chase validation. They create it internally. They do not compromise for acceptance. They hold their standards, and in doing so, they cultivate a presence, authority, and magnetism that commands deep respect naturally, consistently, and effortlessly. The way men perceive women often goes far beyond what is spoken. It is subtle, subconscious, and rooted in behavior. Men naturally respect women who hold themselves to high standards, not because they are intimidating, but because they signal strength, clarity, and emotional intelligence. Confidence, calmness, and self-respect are qualities that communicate value without the need for constant validation or external approval. When a woman maintains her composure, sets clear boundaries, and prioritizes her own worth, she creates an aura of authority that is felt more than it is seen. These behaviors are psychologically compelling because they signal that she is in control of her life, her decisions, and her energy. Men are instinctively drawn to women who operate from this place of internal power. They sense when someone is grounded, intentional, and consistent in her principles. It's not about trying to be admired. It's about embodying standards that others naturally recognize as admirable. This creates magnetism, trust, and respect organically. The psychological truth is that respect is not commanded through words or effort. It is earned through presence, integrity, and the quiet, consistent demonstration of self-worth that men cannot ignore. Applying these principles in real life transforms not just how others see you, but how you experience the world. In relationships, knowing what you will and won't tolerate establishes clarity and prevents emotional exhaustion. It allows you to engage with people who honor your standards and eliminates energy wasted on those who do not. Men respond to this decisiveness because it signals emotional maturity, confidence, and a sense of self that is not reliant on validation. In workplaces, maintaining professional boundaries ensures that your contributions are respected and your expertise is recognized. Saying no when necessary, prioritizing your tasks, and standing firm in your principles communicates authority and earns trust, while those who constantly seek approval often lose credibility. Socially, surrounding yourself with people who share your values and support your growth reinforces your self-respect. It's not about exclusion, it's about alignment. Every interaction becomes intentional rather than reactive. By consistently applying these rules, you create an environment where respect is a natural outcome. Men, colleagues, friends, and even casual acquaintances recognize this presence even subconsciously. It is the combination of boundaries, composure, and self-respect applied thoughtfully across every aspect of life that builds influence, credibility, and an unmistakable aura of authority. Respect is never something that can be demanded, begged for, or manufactured through superficial gestures. True respect is earned quietly and consistently through the way you live, the standards you uphold, and the unwavering belief in your own worth. It comes from showing up fully as yourself, knowing what you deserve, and refusing to compromise your values for temporary approval or fleeting validation. Men notice this kind of energy more than words ever could. When a woman carries herself with clarity, confidence, and composure, she communicates a strength that is felt deeply and instinctively. This is the kind of respect that doesn't require explanation. It is recognized naturally by those around her because it is rooted in authenticity, self-respect, and integrity. Every decision you make, every boundary you enforce, and every choice to prioritize your time and energy sends a signal to the world about who you are. When you hold yourself to high standards and refuse to bend for approval, you create an aura of authority and magnetism that is impossible to ignore. Men, especially, respect women who are deliberate with their energy, calm under pressure, and clear about what they will and will not accept. They are drawn to women who operate from a place of internal power rather than seeking external validation, because this presence communicates stability, intelligence, and strength without a single word. The principles of setting boundaries, valuing your time, staying composed under pressure, and prioritizing self-respect over approval are not rules to follow superficially. They are habits to embody. When applied consistently, they transform not only how others perceive you, but how you perceive yourself. You begin to carry a confidence that is unshakable, a calm that is magnetic, and an authority that commands respect effortlessly. Men are drawn not to arrogance or manipulation, but to authenticity, emotional strength, and the quiet power of someone who knows their worth. It's important to understand that this respect is not transactional. It cannot be bought, forced, or demanded. It flows naturally from consistent behavior that demonstrates self-awareness, maturity, and integrity. When you live by these principles, men and others will respond in kind, not because you have to convince them, but because your presence communicates something undeniable. You respect yourself, and anyone who wants to be part of your life must meet that standard. This creates an environment where respect is automatic, relationships are healthier, and interactions are guided by clarity and mutual recognition of value. By committing to these principles, you reclaim your power and elevate the way you navigate life. You no longer seek validation from external sources because your internal standard is unshakable. You no longer feel the need to compromise your dignity to gain attention or acceptance. Instead, you cultivate a presence that naturally draws the right kind of respect, effortlessly, consistently, and authentically. This is not about controlling others. It is about mastering yourself, demonstrating integrity, and living with unwavering confidence in who you are. When you apply these 4 rules in your life, respect is no longer something you chase. It is something that follows. It is the natural outcome of a woman who knows her worth, protects her energy, communicates clearly, and carries herself with strength and composure. Men notice, colleagues notice, friends notice, and even strangers sense it instinctively. The beauty of this approach is that it requires no force, no pretense, and no apology. The right kind of respect is not given because it is asked for. It is earned because it is embodied. Every moment you choose to uphold your boundaries, prioritize your time, stay composed, and act with self-respect is a moment you are reinforcing your worth. This is the essence of authority and magnetism, the kind that commands attention, inspires admiration, and establishes a presence that cannot be ignored. By living these principles fully, you become a woman whose respect is undeniable, whose confidence is palpable, and whose influence is natural. Men, and the world around you, will notice, not because you demand it, but because it radiates from every action, decision, and interaction you embody.